Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and man, I really appreciate you guys coming by the channel to watch today's video. Guys, got a good one for y'all today. We're going to show you about the new Core Tackle Ozark Rig here, guys. It's called the Ozark Rig by Core Tackle. This thing is pretty much taken over a traditional Texas rig. If you like the Texas rig baits, plastic worms, creature baits, there's so many advantages going to this Ozark rig into the same situations. And what I'm going to do in today's video is describe to you why the Ozark rig is superior to a Texas rig, show you guys actually how to rig it up, and talk a little bit about the characteristics that basically make the fish bite it better just than an old Texas rig. So we're going to get into that in today's episode. And also, guys, if you're interested in getting a pack of the Core Tackle Ozark rig, I'll put the Ozark rig link in my tackle warehouse description of this video. Just use that link. You can get you some baits, and every time you purchase like a bag of just a bag of the Ozark rig, the channel gets a small percentage of profit on the commission there. So it's a good way to support intuitive angling if you're inclined to do so. I really appreciate that. Okay, guys, this is fairly new. This bait has been out for just about a year or so from Core Tackle. Core Tackle, guys, has got some of the most innovative baits you have ever seen. Johnny Schultz and Matt Steffen started the company. They have got some cutting edge, new, really innovative designs, specifically like with jig heads. So you definitely want to check out all the Core Tackle products there at Tackle Warehouse too, especially for like finessey stuff like little swim baits and flukes and that type of deal. But this Ozark rig, guys, this is the real deal. It has, like I said, it's fairly new. It hasn't really caught on yet, but guys, once you try this, you'll see the advantages to it over a Texas rig. And I'm going to say I'm still in the experimentation stages. I've been using it for about 6 months now, and it's replaced my Texas rigs about 50% of the time. I use a Ozark rig about 50% of the time on my soft plastics, and a Texas rig about 50%. And I'm going to explain to you guys the situations when I do both. Okay, so anyway, let's talk a little bit about the Ozark rig here, what makes it so unique. Then I'm going to show you guys how to rig it. The weight is evenly distributed on the shank of the hook right here. And let me take this off of here and we'll re-rig it. I'll sort of show you the rig here. This is what it looks like without anything on it. So you've got a turned eye hook. You got the weight distributed evenly along the shank here versus a Texas rig where the weight is just on the head like here. Now here's the difference why this thing, the Ozark rig, generates more strikes than a Texas rig, at least 50% of the times, is when you're fishing a Texas rig and you flip it in the water, it just drops like a rock. It just goes bloop, straight down like that. The Ozark rig, since you've got this horizontal plane on it, it has more of a glide, more of a horizontal glide when it falls down. And also, as it's falling, based upon the weight of the Ozark rig, you get this spiraling effect as it falls. So you have this visual effect of this spiraling bait coming down like that versus just like dropping a rock in the water with the Texas rig. And that is what generates the strikes in certain type of situations that we'll get into. So, okay, let's talk a little bit about rigging it, and then we're going to talk a little bit about where you want to fish it at. One of the things about the Ozark rig, guys, is it takes a little bit of practice, and they've got a bunch of different sizes, guys. They got the Ozark rig to match about any type of soft plastic you have. I just have the Zoom Z-Hog right now for demonstration purposes. But what you want to do is come in the top about 1/4 of an inch, just like you're rigging a shaky head or something like that. And then you got to do this slow, guys, so you don't tear everything, but slowly put it in there. Come up like that until you hit the hook eye. See, I've got the hook eye. Now at that point, rotate it around. So you got it rotated on the top. And then you want to gently bury this head in the plastic to just where the hook eye is showing. Just push it up there gentle like that. Now see, now the head's completely disappeared in there. And then you want to just bring it back in the middle like that. I usually come all the way through the top depending upon the bait. But here's the thing about it, guys. Now, with the Ozark rig, you got nothing on the head. You've got the lead sort of hidden underneath the bait, versus a big honking piece of lead on the head of the Texas rig like that. Okay, so when you throw this in the water, when this thing, you flip it in the water, this Ozark rig is going to come spiraling down like that. It's sort of a horizontal plane, again, versus just the Texas rig, bloop, just like that. So the bite gets a lot of attraction on the way down. A lot of times you'll get the best, they'll bite it on the way down to where it gets there. When you hop it off the bottom, it's sort of the same way. It just sort of hovers down like that. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about when you want to fish it, and as far as the fact of why I fish it 50% of the time. Here's what I found as far as the success I've had on it, fishing around, just in the tournaments and fishing for fun and everything. I've been fishing a lot, like on Table Rock Lake and Stockton Lake. Anytime that I'm flipping and pitching or casting to some type of what I call clean cover. Now, the clean cover could be like the edge of a boat dock, or the edge of a brush pile, or on the outside part of a stump, or on a little bit sparser cover, maybe into some lily pads or something. That's when I use the Ozark Rig, because I want to take advantage of that spiraling action coming down on that clean cover. Or just like, I caught a lot of fish on it, guys, just pitching to bluffs, just pitching bare banks to bluffs. So I want to take advantage of that horizontal fall with it. The time that I use the Texas rig is when I have to penetrate thicker cover with a heavy weight. So if I'm flipping like, real thick bushes or matted grass or gnarly type cover where I have to use like a 3/4 ounce hook with a big honking super heavy flipping hook, sometimes with even braid, then I'll still use the Texas rig if I'm going over and into something vertical. Because when I'm going over and into something vertical that's real gnarly, there's so many limbs and branches and grass that you're not going to get that hovering effect with that. So it doesn't hurt anything just to have the bait to go straight down. And sometimes you'll need that because you'll have to have a heavier head on that with a bigger, thicker hook and bigger line. But anytime that you've got a piece of cover where that the Ozark rig is free to, to just swirl like that, Texas rig, that Ozark rig. Say for example, if you got a lay down tree or something that's got branches on it, but the branches aren't thick or something, you can pitch it into that lay down tree, and that lay down tree is open enough where you'll still get that same gliding action with the Ozark rig. So that's why I'm saying about 50% of the time, I'm fishing the Ozark rig, and 50% of the time, back with the Texas rig. But guys, I'll tell you right now, it's like, if you have the choice, it's like, let's say for example, you and I were flipping boat docks, like boat docks that have pilings on it, something like that. Or we're just flipping stumps or anything that's fairly clean like that. If you flip that Ozark rig versus somebody that's flipping a Texas rig on the same bait and the same color and the same weight, you will definitely get double the strikes on it. It just puts a lot better action, makes the bait look a lot more realistic on it than a straight Texas rig. Now, to be honest with you guys with this, like I said, it takes me years to master a specific technique. So I've got probably, I'm gonna guess about probably 15 or 20 days since over the past, 6 or 9 months fishing the Ozark rig. So I'm still in the experimentation of using it. But guys, I've got a freaking box full of them, I can tell you right now, of different sizes. And it's going to, as I catch more fish on it and get more confidence on it, I'm gonna be using it more and more. And I'll be able to relate to you guys down the road some future videos about some more nuances about it. But guys, you got to try it, man. Just go in that Tackle Warehouse link I got here. Just pick up a couple packs there. Give them a try. I've had the best success on them on my creature baits, like Zoom brush hogs. I use the Z hog. If you're using a beaver or something like that, that can be good. I've also caught some fish on like a Senko 5-inch soft plastic stick bait on the Ozark rig with a lighter head on it, a little bit lighter fall. But they got a bunch of different hook sizes, a bunch of different weights. And there's really not a soft plastic they don't work on. You can use them on flukes, you can use them on whatever you want to fish it with. Anything that you Texas rig, you can use with the Ozark rig with that. So anyway, guys, hope it helps you guys catch a few, and we'll check in later. See you.